Programming language. Welcome back everybody. I'm Prakash Pradhan, your trainer for this entire series. So from today we are going to also start another new journey for all my students, those who have requested me to make a video for the C programming language from the base, that means from the zero, from the ground level, so that they will find convenient, they will find easy to continue with the syllabus in a college. Now from today we are going to talk about another topic, that's a C programming language. Now, before we continue, before we start the journey of the C programming language, I would like to tell you first what are the prerequisites, why do we need to talk about the C programming language, what are the application areas, what are the formats. So there are so many things, so it's going to be a long journey actually, because C is not that easy programming language that can be learned or that can be understood just with the help of 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 videos. So it's gonna take ample amount of time for you guys to understand, and please stay with me. It's gonna be easy and it's gonna be exciting journey for you all. Now I don't want to waste your time for just talking about the whole history of this C programming language or the programming language that we were using before C. Just I need to tell you that it was Dennis Ritchie actually in 1972. He was an American, this computer scientist who was working in AT&T Bell laboratory, and finally he was successful to come up with a new high-level programming language, which later on proved itself to be a mother of all the modern programming language. That means nowadays, whichever operating system you use, whichever your application software you use, whichever game you play over the cloud, maximum they all are based on a C programming language. Now you might be wondering, then how is it possible that even for the game, for the application, for your any kind of operating system or the system software, C programming language is used? That you are going to understand slowly, step by step, when we move further. Now, if you have another question in your mind, then which was the kind of powerful programming language before the C programming language? So that's listed over here. Just the two names I have given over here. It might be your ALGOL before the C or BCPL. So these were the common language actually. But since the moment C programming language was launched by this Dennis Ritchie in his team in 1972, since then this programming language is the most dominant programming language in the market. Trust me guys, without having the knowledge of C programming language, it will be very much difficult for you all to understand the rest of the high-level programming language, because this one is the best for all the programming language. So that's why we're going to start a new journey for the C programming language. Now, if you see the image over here, you might be wondering why it's empty. So if you think this way, that these two guys are trying to talk to each other, they want to communicate to each other. Now, in order to communicate with each other, what do you need? Of course, I believe you made a right guess, the medium of communication. Without having a medium of communication, human even cannot communicate. So that means if without having a common set of rules, a common language, to exchange the idea, to exchange the view between two people, if they are not able to communicate with each other without a medium, then you can't think that even you can communicate with the device. So that's why we need to have a language in order to communicate with the computer. So if you would like to make some program, if you'd like to play some game, if you'd like to go for some sort of graphical or let's say graphic design software, if you'd like to talk about the driver, if you'd like to talk about the game, whichever application or system software that we are using in a computer system, that computer must understand what you are trying to say. That means you need to talk in computer language, not your language. So that's why we use a language as a medium of communication, same like a biological, that means same like our life. Now, so of course we're going to use a language to communicate with the computer. So which language? English, Nepali, Hindi, which one? No, not all of this, not even one actually. We use a programming language. That means if you'd like to communicate with the computer using a medium of communication in a form of language, so that language should be computer programming language only. Now, in order to write a program in a computer system, you need to use a programming language, and C is one of them. It's a very powerful, as I've already mentioned. Now, so what is the meaning of program now? That means a set of instructions. That means when we provide a set of instructions, when we give a certain code to a computer system, in a high level programming language, in a C, for example. So that is simply known as a set of instructions actually. So whenever you give any set of instructions, whenever you provide it with any code to a computer in order to obtain your desired output, so that's a program. That means here are three things that you need to understand. First one is a language. In order to communicate with the computer, we need to have a language. It's not like that you use your English, you use your Nepali language, they're going to understand. No, computer is not going to understand any of this language because computer understands only its own. That's a machine level language. That means that's a 0-1. So that's why to communicate with the computer, we need to have a knowledge of the programming language. And which we are talking about right now, that's a C programming language. Okay, now in order to program to the computer, so that you can communicate with it, you need to provide the set of instruction, and that set of instruction, that set of code, simply it means a program. So this program we are going to talk about the high level programming language, and of course that's a C programming language. Now there is a big question. If I learn, let's say if I learn a C programming language, then what are the application area? Where can I implement those languages? Number one, software development. Easiest way. This is the only thing. What can you do if you learn the C programming language? You can develop the software. Okay, so what are the types of software that I am going to design or to develop? Number one, system software. System software simply means it's operating system, nothing else. System software is a software designed to provide a platform for other software. That means system software simply provide a platform so that on top of that platform, you will be able to use other softwares. Example, when you install the operating system, that operating system itself is the system software. Now, who developed that? That means which programming language is mostly used to design or develop that operating system or in the form of your system software? So that's a C programming language. Don't forget, your Mac OS, your Linux OS, your Android, your Microsoft OS, they all are one way or the other. Directly or indirectly, they are linked, they are based, or they depend on this C programming language. So that means, in short, your high-level programming language C can help you to develop the system software. What is the system software? It's operating system, without which you will not be able to do anything, because this operating system, this system software is more than enough to provide you with a platform where other software can run. So currently also I am recording this video using which software? That's a system software. And which language is used actually to make the system software? C programming language. Okay, if you are using the Linux, even the Linux is completely written with the C. That means we are talking about the very, very, very much powerful programming language. So that's why I don't think your investment of time in this video is not going to be wasted. Okay, now I was talking about it's not only the system software, C programming language is also used to develop application software. Because see, on top of the system software, we are going to install the application software. It might be in a form of your browser, or it might be your any kind of your graphic design software, or it can be any kind of your office document. So they all are based on the system software. Once you install the system software, on top of that system software only you will be able to install those application software. And even those application softwares are completely, almost they are designed by the mother of all the programming languages that we believe to see nowadays. That's a C programming language. So if I have to tell you precisely the meaning of your application software, so our application program, it's a computer program designed to carry out the specific tasks. That means application programs are those programs, those softwares, they are designed to perform the specific tasks on the basis of the interest of the client. So whichever client is demanding you to develop so and so application, for designing or developing those application software also, actually we depend on C. For example, word processor. It might be your media player, accounting software, all of this, they all are based on a C programming language. So that's why it's mandatory for you all. If you would like to stick in the world of information technology as a developer, as a programmer, C programming language is going to help you. Each and every corner, don't worry. Okay, it's going to help you. Now, if I have to talk about the features of C programming language, why do I need to use this C? Why only C? Is this the only high-level programming language that we have and that's been used to develop any kind of system or the application software? No, there are many, but C is the most powerful. Okay, we'll see in the days to come why it is powerful. Okay, now if I have to talk about some of the features of C programming language over here, as you can see, it has so many features. It's fast and efficient, easy to extend, okay, and statically typed. It's portable. It's a middle level language, as well as it's a where the libraries with rich functions, rich set of built-in operations, built-in functions are there. It is a general purpose language as well. So these all are the some of the common or the best features that we find in a C programming language. Now there is another one thing that you need to understand before we go to the next topic, and that is translator. You have a look over here. If you see to my left hand side, it looks like someone is from it can be from African country. And if you see at the right hand side, that might be someone from the Asia. It looks like Indian. Now, if these two ladies, they would like to communicate to each other, do you think they are going to understand each other's language? Obviously no. Okay, they cannot understand each other's language. Then how are we going to solve this problem? We will keep in between someone who can translate. That means who can understand both the language. That means if a person from the Africa would like to just communicate with the person from India, so this lady, whatever she is trying to say, that words, those sentences are going to be translated into the another person, whoever is going to receive. That means translator. Now you might be wondering, why do I need to use a translator? Don't forget, as I already mentioned, that computer do not understand the human language. Why? Computer understands only the machine level language. Then are you capable enough to write a program with the help of this machine level language in a form of the 0-1? That's a binary base, isn't it? So we are not going to write a program in bits and bytes. So that's why we are going to use the high level programming language. So that is a C. That means even the program written in C, computer cannot understand straight away in order to obtain any kind of desired output that you have fed over there. So what we do now? We simply use one translator, and that translator itself we can simply understand in a form of compiler. Okay, so this compiler is nothing, just a computer software. What it does, it translates the source code. That means whatever programming you have done in a computer system to obtain any kind of your desired output that you want to tell to this computer, you process this data and give me so and so output. So computer don't understand that, because you're writing a code in a high level programming language. That means it might be in a form of int, char, okay, anything for any kind of loop, any control statement, if then else. Computer don't understand that. Why? Computer understand only 0 and 1. But the coding that you have done, that means the program that you have done right now in a computer is in a high level language. And which one is that? Of course, I do believe that you have not forgotten so far. We are talking about the C programming language. So all the codes are written in C programming language, and your computer don't understand that. As these two ladies, we need to have someone as a translator. So similarly, in the computer, we need to use a translator also. It's not only the C programming language. That C programming language, it should be integrated with the compiler. That means the program that you are going to use to write a program in a C, it must have a compiler. Otherwise, what you are trying to write, computer will not be able to understand. So that's why the code written in high level language into a set of machine level language. Machine language instruction means 0-1, so that your processor can understand. That means your digital computer CPU can understand. So compilers are very large program with error checking and other abilities. That means it is a very huge program. It's a big program. But don't worry guys, you are not going to write a code to develop the compiler. Compiler is already built. Okay, translator is already made for us now. It's simply, we need to understand the coding in the C programming language where only 32 keywords are there. Okay, it's quite easy actually. So, but don't forget, C programming language is compiler based. So what is the meaning of this compiler base, how it works, this you are going to understand in days to come. Now, so far what you understood, C programming language is the very much powerful programming language. It is used to develop the system software, it is used to develop the application software, it is used to develop the game or blah blah, so many things are there. Okay, but where are you going to write this program? In a notepad? In a PowerPoint? No, you need to have one specific application that can support the code that you provide in a form of C programming language. So that's why we have so many other platform application that we have. So before I show you the name of some of the application that we're going to use in order to write the code in C programming language, I want you to understand why to use C. Specifically, why C? Number one, this is the basis for many more programming languages. That means if you have a good understanding of the C programming language, trust me, more than 50% of C++, C has Java, JavaScript, you know all by default. So that's why it's mandatory to learn if you want to be a good programmer. Compilation time is faster over here. That means that will help to reduce the latency. So if you are wondering the meaning of this, the term, the exact explanation of the meaning of reducing the latency with the help of C programming language. That means if you use a C programming language to develop any application, even the game and all, it's going to perform faster. Compilation time is faster. Remember the game. When you play a game, when you are shooting from one corner to next corner, okay, if someone comes back of you and starts shooting you, but you notice late. Why? Because you couldn't understand how fast he or she came to shoot you. So that is the simple example of latency. So if you are, previously only informed, if it has given a certain kind of your indication that someone is coming nearby you, these kind of things are actually done by the C programming language actually. So that is going to help you to reduce the latency. That means, guys, for playing a game also C is used. You cannot deny the use of C. It might be in a form of C, C+ has, but the C is there. Okay, and another best thing that I like most in a C programming language is we have only 32 keywords actually. You do not need to know more and more sophisticated keywords over here. So only 32 keywords. Using these 32 keywords, you think about how much powerful is this. Just to know the 32 keywords and your work is done. Okay, and another one thing is that the most important point over here in a cause of using the C programming language as a base of any other high-level programming language in a market, it is mostly powerful and widely used because of its stability. And this programming language is quite stable. It's not going to change soon. So that's why we all prefer. Now, the last thing I'd like to tell you before we wind up the today's session, just a simple kind of understanding why I need to use C, what is C, where are the application area of C. I also need to tell you where are you going to write the code of C. Of course, from the most probably by one or two more videos of this session, we are going to start the coding in the C programming language. Now, you need to have one platform. Okay, now the platform that you are going to get it in order to write the C programming language in a form of the software, they are Turbo C, C++, Code Blocks, okay, Ellipse is there, Visual Studio is there, NetBeans is there. So these all are simply the software or the program that will provide you with a platform that will provide you one space, one area where you can type the coding of the C programming language. Now we will mostly focus on Code Blocks, okay, because Turbo C and C++ is almost outdated over there. We hardly find this one in the market because there are so many disadvantages comparing to the other softwares where we can write a program. I'm not saying Turbo C and C++ is useless. No, don't ever think that. Okay, but if you'd like to write a program in a C programming language using a graphical user interface where you'd like to make the best utilization of the mouse for building, for running that program, whatever you have written in C, in that case, you can use Code Blocks, not Turbo C and C++. That means you can take it as an older software that was used to run the code. Still it is used. If you say, no, I would like to use Turbo C and C and write a code, there is no harm on that. You can still do the same thing. Just the difference is that graphical user interface. So guys, I do believe this introduction was fruitful to you all. It was a self-explanatory for everything that I've explained. So from next time, I do believe by next video we'll be able to start the coding in a C programming language. If you find it fruitful, please do like and subscribe. Thank you.